Hi everyone, welcome to Mom's Kitchen. So today we're going to be doing something really different than I've done before, and we're going to be talking about zero cost Christmas gifts. Now I know some of you are having a really hard time, you're out of work, things have changed, and maybe you've never had a Christmas like this, but I have had many like this. My husband would get laid off around Christmas every year. And I didn't play into we're not giving gifts because we don't have any money. You do the best you can. You look around the house, you think about the person, and you see what you can possibly come up with for a present. So this will be kind of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. I'm not going to talk about wrapping yet, but don't spend any money on wrapping either, because I will do another video where we talk about creative packaging using what we have. Okay, so this is going to be fairly long. I have come up with a lot of ideas because I'm quite experienced in this. And this year I've already shopped and I didn't have to do this, but believe me, I have a lot. Okay. So the first idea I came up with is to start a plant for somebody out of a plant that you already have. So like I have this Christmas cactus, and I could take some slips off of this and start a new Christmas cactus for somebody on my list. And I could use a Christmas mug. I could use a coffee can. I mean, get creative. Use what you have. Obviously, the Christmas mug would be better than the coffee can, but if you just have a coffee can, use it. Also, I have this aloe plant. Now, that would be fun, right? Take a piece off the aloe plant and repot it for somebody. But any kind of plant that you have, just research your plant so that you can find out exactly how to take a slip off of it, how to start a new one, because it varies plant to plant. Like I know the Christmas cactus, you cut off several of these and you poke them directly into the dirt and keep it watered, and that's how you take a slip off of this. But I'm not sure on, every kind of plant, or I wouldn't have any idea what you have. So now don't comment below and tell me that you don't have this stuff, because I am giving you a list so long that you have some of this stuff. You may not have everything for every one of these projects, but you have some stuff that you can use, okay? I tried to think of everybody. Okay, next, seeds. Maybe you have a gardener on your list, and maybe you're a gardener. Now, for example, okay, right here, I have some seeds that I have saved from some of the squash that I grew this year. I'm an heirloom gardener. I could package up some of my different seeds for somebody on my list that's also a gardener, just in little envelopes, and write what it is. And it would be a nice gift for a gardener. But I wouldn't want to give this to somebody who doesn't garden, because that doesn't make any sense. But it also would be a fun project for like maybe somebody who hasn't gardened, but they're a homeschooler, or they have children that would enjoy growing something. So just think about who you're giving for. Okay, next on my list here, I have magazines. Okay, a friend of mine gave me this magazine, and she gives me a lot of her magazines for birthdays and things, and I love them because I am so frugal. I will not spend the money for a magazine ever, like just never. So when she bundles up a bunch of her used magazines and gives them to me, it is like so much entertainment for me. I love it. It's a wonderful gift. And she already has it on hand. Kind of on that same note, the same friend picked out for my birthday a bunch of these work basket magazines from 1979, the year that I was born, and gave them to me for my birthday. Now, this is just absolutely fun. And this works as a Christmas gift too if you have something special like this laying around. Okay, quotes in a photo frame. This was given to me by a friend, and I don't know if you can see it very well. Let's get it so you can see it. I don't think the lighting's very good. Okay, it says, make your bed, Jesus. Now, this is something that her and I have as an ongoing joke. It came up one night during a Bible study that we were doing, and we were talking about a story where a man had been lame for many years, and as soon as he was healed, the first thing that Jesus said was that he needed to roll up his mat, which was his bed. And we started laughing, and we were just being silly, and we said, well, in today's words, we could say, make your bed. Like, the most important thing, get up, make your bed. So we laughed and laughed over that. So for Christmas that year, she took this frame that she already had on hand, and she put a piece of tissue paper in there, and she did just a little bit of gold there with a pen or some paint or something. And in her own handwriting, she just wrote, make your bed, Jesus. And she gave this to me. I love this. Like, this sets in my room, and I see it every day, and I make my bed. And then every once in a while, she'll text me, did you make your bed today? And there's nothing she could have given me that I would have loved more. This was just awesome. And think of the person that you're giving it to. Maybe they have a favorite quote. Maybe they have a favorite Bible verse. Maybe they have a favorite Christmas song, and you could take some lyrics from that. Just think about who you're giving it to. So that's really fun. Another friend gave me this, and it's a homemade rice bag. She used fabric she had on hand, and she made a pillowcase for it. And then inside, she upcycled an old piece of clothing for the fabric, and she filled it full of rice. This was such a hit with us that she made it for my husband and I, and we were fighting over this rice bag. Nobody wanted to use the Eaton Cat anymore. We just wanted the rice bag, and we kept arguing over who was going to get to use the rice bag. So a couple years later, she made a second rice bag for my husband in like camo print. And that way we would each have a rice bag. So, she had everything on hand for that. Okay, let's see. Sorry, guys. This is going to be fairly long once we get through all the items and the backstory of all the items and what I think. Okay, next. A tablecloth upcycle. Now, I have here a tablecloth just to show you, and it's in good shape, and it's a decent weight tablecloth. Okay. And I have used these before when I was down and out and I needed to do some sewing for Christmas, and buying fabric was totally out of the question. I cut one of these just like this up in mint green because I have several tablecloths and I could do without one of them. Christmas is sacrifice. And I made a beautiful apron out of it to give to a lady that I felt that we really needed to give to that year that we don't normally give to. And it worked out great. In fact, it was a better quality fabric than I could have bought. And the tablecloth was in really good shape. Like, it had only been used 1 or 2 times. So, maybe for you, it's not a tablecloth. Maybe you have an old sheet. Like, we wear out our bottom sheet, but our top sheet is like brand new. So maybe you could use that to make something from. Another idea would be to make throw pillows out of this, but use your imagination. Maybe you have some different ideas. Okay, next, scrap wood projects. And you can Google scrap wood projects and come up with so many things. It's insane, especially like pallet wood or anything. This is a little shelf that my son made me one year. He's made me 2 of these. I actually need to get these finished and hung up. But that painting behind me, he made them to go on both sides of those paintings and to be able to set a pillar candle on it. And he just did this out of some scrap wood we had kicking around. It's absolutely beautiful. But additionally, you could take just the board here and you could paint it up like a snowman or Santa or something like that and put a little wall hanger on the back. But take a look. There's so many projects you can do out of scrap wood. Okay, the next thing on the list is baking. Okay, we all know baking, right? Bake something, give it to somebody. Okay, but maybe you have a vintage cookbook laying around, and maybe you could make one of the recipes out of that, something that people aren't baking now that would be a little different. And then maybe you could include the recipe. If you don't want to give up the book, maybe you could include the recipe in with what you're giving. And like we can all go on Pinterest and we can see, oh, what is the latest, greatest thing that, people are baking? Well, first of all, it takes a whole lot of stuff that you probably don't have. And secondly, it's all the rage. Everybody's probably already had it. But finding something that people aren't making today, look at some of these photos. It'd be just something really different that would be fun for them to try. You could even put the year of the cookbook down on the recipe card. But something like that is really, really, really fun. Here's another page. And they're showing you some containers that you could use to give them in also. And another fun one is some sort of a gingerbread house. Maybe you have, being creative, enough stuff on hand to create something like that, or a kit for a child to make their own gingerbread house where you make the gingerbread, or you put in the graham crackers and the frosting if you happen to have that on hand. Okay, so additionally, let's see, what do we have next on the list? I had to make a list. It was just so long. Oh, a book that you have read. Okay? A book that you've read and you enjoyed. Great. This is perfect. It doesn't have to be a brand new book, because you want to know what's better about this book. You could put a little note right in the cover. Who it's to, how much you enjoyed the book, that you hope they're going to enjoy the book, to give you a call when they're done the book for a book discussion, and sign your name. Wonderful idea. Okay. Dried flower arrangement. This is a fun one. My mother grew these hydrangeas this year, and she was so excited. She couldn't wait to give them to me. So when I got home, I just put them in a little vase I already had, and I just clipped a little piece of ribbon I had kicking around, and there you go. This would make a great Christmas gift for somebody. And maybe you don't have something like that you've grown or available to you. Cut some pine branches and put a few little pine cones in there and a ribbon and a vase. I mean, get creative with what you have. Okay, next. A devotional. This is a great one too. This is a devotional this year that I read. I loved. And I made sure I put no marks in it at all. I took notes in a different little notebook because I was thinking, oh, I can pass this on to somebody else. What a wonderful gift, especially one that you read, because you know if it's good or not. Like, how many times do we go and we order a devotional and we don't even like it? It's like, oh, that's not what I thought it was. But with this, you already know if it's good. So that's a great, great gift idea. These are all wonderful, wonderful things that I have received or I would like to receive. Okay, next. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, this is really good. Okay, maybe you have an old item that's been in your family. Like, this is my great-grandmother's teacup. Okay, now I'm not actually giving this away, but I do have a lot of her things. I'm just using this as an example. Maybe you could give this to a family member, like your daughter, your granddaughter, a cousin, somebody that would really appreciate that this is great Grammy's. teacup, okay? Like if I pass this on to my son, it would be great Grammy's teacup. All right. Oh, this was a fun gift that I received one year. I received this many, many years ago. And I don't know if you can see, that's recipes, okay? So this guy right here, he's very special to me. And when he was about this age, him and his mother made me some pumpkin donuts. It says squash donuts. Okay, squash donuts. And they gave them to me with his photo and then the original recipe and his version of the recipe. And this is hung in my kitchen ever since. He is like, I think he's going to be 20 in January. I'm still loving this one. Okay, next. Pot holders. These are some pot holders that the Amish made. But look around. What do you have for fabric? Do you have an old dress shirt that you can't wear anymore? It doesn't fit, or it has a little rip, but the rest of the fabric is good. A flannel shirt, blue jeans, whatever. So some holders. For the inside, you can use some old dish towels folded up, an old blanket folded up. Just make sure it's really thick so that they don't get burned. A couple thick layers of something inside here. Super simple project. Actually, from the Amish, I think I paid $6 or $7 for 2 of these. So, I mean, if you had to buy it, it really wouldn't be all that cheap. Okay, next, something of yours. Now, this is a fun one. Maybe you have something that somebody has always admired or enjoyed, or maybe it's an ongoing joke. Like my grandmother right now has this little bird, and it's in this flannel shirt, Christmassy, long-legged, and it is so cute. And my mother and I tease her about this bird constantly, and we try to like sneak it out and see if she'll catch us. Or like my mother has snuck it to her house, and then when she knows grandma's coming, she like sits it on the counter where the buffet is going to be and waits for grandma to scream, "That's my bird, give it to me." Something like that would be awesome. Like if grandma gave that to me or my mother for Christmas, that would be so fun, you know. But it could be something more serious too, like a fancy pie plate that they always admire when you bring a pie. Well, wrap it up for them. You know, so we don't need everything we have. We can share some of our treasures. Maybe you have some new items that you haven't used, like you got a good buy and you bought several, or you got some for your birthday or something and you haven't used them yet and you need a gift for somebody and you could afford to share it. Just looking around, okay? I had these. I got a great buy on these. And I bought several of them for my own use, but I could spare one. I love the Yardley soap. I always keep Yardley soap on hand. It's a beautiful soap. I could spare one of these, right? And put the two together. There you go. All right. So then maybe a homemade candle. I had some and I was going to lay one out and I didn't. I'm not going to scoot and go try to get it, but I had an antique jar and we melted down some old candles and we reused the wick from that. And we melted some crayons for the color, like in an old tin can. And we made some very interesting layered candles for our own use, but it would make a nice gift also. Air freshener spray. Maybe you have an old spray bottle and you can rinse it out and make a homemade air freshener spray. If you have some essential oils. I have been making one out of boiled water, essential oils, and a few tablespoons of witch hazel. Very inexpensive. Hopefully you have it on hand. If not, then don't do that one. But Sachet, if you have essential oils, same deal. Look around. What could you use for fabric? Sew a little sachet, fill it with whatever you have on hand, and put some of that essential oil in. Maybe you have some old jeans that are ripped, but some of the fabric is still okay. What could you make out of those? You can make a tote bag. We already said pot holders. I know somebody who made a Bible cover out of a pair of old jeans. I mean, the options are endless. Now, this is a good one for COVID-19. And here I am. What am I doing? On live, I'm having to use a tissue, right? Everybody needs tissues. So, a DIY tissue holder. I Googled it. You can make them out of 2 types of fabric. You can make them out of, let's see, I made a list. A piece of elastic to like make your tissue box hang over the back of a car seat, the seat in your car, you know, for access to tissues for people in the back seat. They put tissues in mason jars and make fun little mason jar tissue holders. But Google that. There's a lot of different types of tissue holders. That would be great. You know, for winter, everybody needs tissues. Include the box of tissues. If you have some extra, I know I've bought a lot of tissues up front with COVID-19. So I would have plenty that I could spare a box or 2. Okay. Hand sanitizer. From what I understand, you can make hand sanitizer from equal parts of aloe gel and rubbing alcohol. Look that up. See if you can find an actual recipe. But if you have an old squeeze bottle of some sort that you could wash out, and then if you have the aloe on hand for like sunburns, well, it's not sunburn season. So, you know, go ahead and make some hand sanitizer. You could put a little bit of essential oils in there if you have it to give it a nice scent. And that would be a really fun gift to give this year. And you can even jazz that up with different poems and stuff that they have about Christmas and hand sanitizers. Do some research on that. Okay, something made by kids. This has always been a hit with me because I love kids. So the boy that made this for me is now probably 23, 24 years old. And he made me this little paper house and colored it. Okay, and I love this. I still keep this setting on top of my microwave, and I smile every time I see it. You can never go wrong by having your kids make something for who's on your gift list. They'll love it. And additionally, if you have kids to give to, maybe you could find some printables to make little villages and things like that and do them up with some crayons or whatever you can find for them to have for a gift or to do while they're at your house over the holidays. Something that brings back a memory. That is always a good one. I have this paper nativity, and the pieces are huge, huge, huge. And some of the kids that were involved in my life at the time, they made it on my wall in my house, and it covered one whole wall. And there was a lot of them involved. And I have that saved. And the plan is the first one of them to get married, and they were all at that age, it could be any time, is going to get that nativity from me for Christmas some year. Now, wouldn't that be fun? Even if they don't want to hang it up, even if they just want to pull it out and laugh and remember when they did it at my house, great gift. Okay. Let's see. Cake. There's all kinds of recipes online. I would pick one that didn't need a lot of additional ingredients because you're giving a gift. The idea is for them not to then have to come up with a bunch of stuff to use their gift. But just slip a baggie in there, put the stuff in, tie it with a piece of string in any mug that you have. Good to go. Chex Mix. Now, I know Chex Mix is expensive, but you don't need to go buy all of that stuff. What do you have on hand? Do you have a little bit of cornflakes, a little bit of Cheerios, a little bit of Cheetos, some nuts, some pretzels? We have done this out of everything going. Just look around, make sure cup for cup, you're getting the same amount of cups in the recipe, and then make that sauce that goes over there. You can make it right in the microwave. Everybody loves that. That's a real hit. Rice Krispie squares. Perfect. Maybe you have some marshmallows left from summer and they're a little sticky. They're still great for Rice Krispie squares. Make some Rice Krispie squares. Once again, maybe you don't have Rice Krispies. Maybe you have Cheerios. It works with all cereal. Homemade ornaments. Everybody loves homemade ornaments. Just some simple ones to mention. You can look online how to make like Snoopy or different characters from an old light bulb. You can take a pine cone and hot glue some ribbon off of it to hang and maybe glitter it a little bit or leave it even plain. Great. Some cinnamon sticks. They make nice ornaments. You could make those salt dough ornaments. Use your imagination. But the idea here is not to run to the craft store or run to Dollar Tree and buy out the craft department to go make ornaments. That's not helping. You want to make ornaments out of what you have. And there's so many. I couldn't even begin to list them all. Now, my family has talked about this for many years. We would like to have a year where we give out homemade coupons that we're going to do a service for each other, be our Christmas. Like maybe I'm going to go clean my grandmother's bathroom, like sprinkling it. Or maybe my mother's going to give me one to make me my favorite supper or whatever. A coupon for a service. Now make sure it's a service you're actually going to follow through on. Don't give somebody a coupon for something that you can't do. But great, great gift. Toilet paper holder, okay? COVID-19 toilet paper. I guarantee by Christmas, there won't be any toilet paper in the stores. Now, if you have thought ahead and you have bought your toilet paper in advance for the whole winter, like some people I know have, not saying any names, do them up a little toilet paper kit. Now, you could do just toilet paper with some funny poem on it. I have seen toilet paper where they make it look like a snowman. Okay. Or you could make them a toilet paper holder. And I have seen some rustic ones with like a piece of string and like a twig. I don't know. They're just really cute. Do some research there. That would be really, really fun. And along that lines, don't ever, ever estimate a good gag gift. Oh my goodness. Make sure it's somebody that has a sense of humor and somebody that, you know, the gag actually works for. It's got to apply. But we have had so much fun with gag gifts. I don't normally give like to my mother or grandmother or something. Their only gift is a gag gift. But I like to have several packages for them. So it's fun to sneak a little gag gift in amongst the packages. That is always a hit. But we have a little gag going on right now for somebody we don't normally buy for that has a great sense of humor. I can't wait. That's going to be a blast. And that's all they need is the gag gift. So use your judgment, but never underestimate the gag gift. Okay, on the COVID-19 topic, homemade face mask. Oh my goodness, you could use so many things. I actually have a video on my channel showing how I made my masks, but there's so many ideas out there, from using a bandana to an old t-shirt, just so many things. And keep the person in mind. What colors do they like? What's their style? But do them up a face mask or a few face masks. A fun poster. Okay, you can either put this in a frame if you have a frame, or you can laminate it, or you could even give it to them plain and they could do whatever with it. But my son did this one up for me. Okay, that is my puppy, Sloopy. And anybody who watches the channel knows Sloopy is a handful. She's always in trouble. She's 1 year old at this point, and a blue tick hound that just goes from one disaster to another. So my son took her picture and he made this poster for me. It says, "Wanted dead or alive, Toto's monster," which is what he calls her, the Toto's monster. $10,000 reward. I love this. This is going to be framed and this is going to be hanging in my house. Or even one of those refrigerator frames with the magnets. That might be what I do. But this is hysterical. Everybody that sees this is going to laugh because they know how bad she is. We love her, but she is so bad. Okay, something fun like that. But maybe it's for a kid. Maybe they like Blue's Clues. Maybe they like SpongeBob, whatever somebody is into. You could make them a poster. You could draw it or print it off like that. There's so many different free programs out there to make something like that. Oh, this is a neat one. We found this little bird's nest. I'm never quite sure on live how to show you. In the tree by our house, the lilac bush. Now, this would be so neat. Like if you have a little artificial bird you could put in there, and maybe you could paint some little beads, or you have some little colored beads you could put in there to look like little eggs. Or maybe you don't have a bird, but maybe you could draw one to set in here or make one out of something. Maybe you could blow out a small chicken egg and paint it and set it in here. This is a really neat one. I really like nature gifts like that. Oh, fun with produce. I do not have an example of this, but on my channel, if you scroll through, you will find where I did this for somebody. I took a pineapple and I put sunglasses on it, and I put a few little pom-poms like for a nose, and I made a mouth out of something, and then we glued like jingle bells and pom-poms all through the top of the pineapple. And then we took a piece of ribbon and made like a bandana hanging down and attached the name tag to that. Hysterical. I showed up at the lady's house and handed her this pineapple. She was laughing so hard. She then went to her refrigerator and gave us a head of cabbage, which we laughed all the way home about, and then made, I don't know, pasta, cabbage, and sausage or something from it. And then, as if that wasn't enough, right? This was the gift that just kept giving. She brought it to youth group, and the youth group brought it to the church breakfast, and they cut it up at the church breakfast and served it to the people who were there. Sometimes it's not cost. It's just fun. That was so fun. My son has a mug thing going with her. Like, it all started one year. He took like a mug and he put a few tea bags in there and wrapped it up in some clear paper and gave it to her. So then she come back with a Christmas mug with some candy in there, and she put a piece of plastic on the top of the mug. And then another year he filled a mug with something else. I mean, they could even be swapping the same mugs back and forth, right? And putting different stuff in them. It's just the fun of it. Okay, this is a gift that my husband actually bought me, but a lady in my community made this. And she just cut 3 birch logs, and she tied them together with some twine. And then she carved some holes in it, and she put candles. Now, I don't light this. Obviously, it wouldn't really be safe to light with the strings and the real wood. But it's my centerpiece on my coffee table, and I love this. But if you're afraid of the person lighting it, if you happen to have some of those battery operated tea lights, you could put those in, or you could just pull the wicks out, trim them down to where they can't actually be lit. This was a really neat gift that I love. And maybe you don't even make it a candle holder. Maybe you just bundle it up like this because they have a fireplace and it would look neat sitting there. Okay, and this is some chocolate mint tea. And I will be probably doing a video on how I made this coming up real soon. But any homemade drink mixes that you can make, like maybe mocha or a special minty hot cocoa with candy canes and hot cocoa mix, if you have that stuff on hand, do some looking. This makes a nice gift. And we're going to wrap it up right there. I think I have covered many, many, many things here. Leave some comments below what you thought. What's your favorite item? What are some that you're going to give this year? Maybe you had some ideas I didn't give. We want to get you more active in the channel here. The more active you are, the more we know what you're looking for and the better videos we can produce. And so like and subscribe. Have a great Christmas this year. Bye.